this video, we're going to learn how to factorize trinomials. But before we can learn how to factorize trinomials, I want to know, how do I end up with a trinomial in the first place? So we're going to simplify a few products. In this first example, we've got x plus 2 times x plus 3, and we're going to use FOIL to simplify. Now remember, FOIL stands for firsts. So if I multiply the first terms together, I get x squared. Outer terms, x times 3 is going to give me 3x. The inner terms, 2 times x is 2x. And the last terms, 2 times 3 is 6. We've got like terms in the middle, 3x and 2x, and they will add up to 5x. Now factorizing is the reverse process. So we're going to start with a trinomial and work backwards and see what brackets we end up with. So there's one or two things I just want you to note in the beginning. Firstly, plus 2 plus 3 gives me plus 5. So there's a relationship. So those two numbers, if I add them together, I get the middle term in the trinomial. Then if I take those same two terms and I multiply them together, I end up with the last term. So 2 times 3 is 6. And that's worth remembering. But let's try another example first. In example 2, we've got x minus 6 and x minus 2. My first terms will give me x squared, then minus 2x. My inner terms will give me minus 6x, and my last terms will give me plus 12. If I add those like terms, we end up with minus 8x in the middle. Now let's just have a look. If I start with that trinomial and work my way backwards, what happens? Well, minus 6 and minus 2, so minus 6 minus 2 will give me minus 8. And then minus 6 times minus 2 gives me positive 12. So that's worth remembering. So now let's try and use that same technique. If we start with a trinomial, we want to try and figure out what brackets would have given us that trinomial. So let's try and factorize the following. So the first number I'm going to start with is the last number. Now remember, when we look at example 1 and 2, the two numbers had to multiply to give me that last number. So 2 times 3 gave me 6, and 6 times 2 gave me 12. So we're looking for all numbers that multiply together to give me 4. And I've got 4 and 1 and 2 and 2. Now the other thing we have to remember from example 1 and 2 is if I added those two numbers, I got the middle number. So if I look at 4 and 1 and 2 and 2, which combination will give me 5? Well, 4 plus 1 gives me 5. So the two numbers in the brackets will be 4 and 1. So my brackets will be x plus 4 and x plus 1. So that's how we find the brackets. And we're going to try quite a few more examples in this video. But why don't you pause now so that you can take down these examples. Let's work through a few more. We've got x squared plus 7x plus 6. So we first look at plus 6 and decide what numbers will multiply together to give me 6. 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now I'm looking for the combination that will add to give me 7. Will 6 plus 1 give me 7, or 2 plus 3 give me 7? And 6 plus 1 will give me 7. So those are the two numbers that will end up in the brackets. It's x plus 6 and x plus 1. X squared plus 8x plus 12. Again, let's find the numbers that multiply to give me 12, or the factors of 12. 12 and 1, 6 and 2, and this time I have an extra one, 4 and 3. And I want the combination that will add to give me 8. And that is going to be 6 and 2 this time. So 6 and 2 will be the numbers inside my bracket. So I end up with x plus 6 and x plus 2. You'll notice in these two examples that in the trinomial, both signs are positive, and in the brackets, both signs are positive. In example 3, both signs were positive, and in the brackets, both signs were positive. Let's look at another one. Now we've got x squared minus 5x plus 6. So again, same process. Which numbers will be factors of 6, or which numbers will multiply to give me 6. 6 and 1, and 2 and 3. And again, this time I'm looking for the combination that will add to give me 5. Don't worry about the negative, I'll speak about that in a few minutes. So which combination will add to give me 5? Well, 2 and 3. So the numbers in my brackets will be 2 and 3. Now because I'm trying to get minus 5, I'm going to use minus 2 and minus 3. So if you have to find two numbers that you add in together to get that middle term, just use the sign of that middle term in the two brackets. Pause the video now so that you can make some notes. Now in the previous few examples, the signs in the brackets were always the same. Now I want to look at what happens if the signs are different. Do the same rules apply? So we're going to do a few products just to see what type of trinomials we get if the signs are different. Again, we're going to FOIL them. So the first terms will give me x squared, the outer term minus 3x, the inner terms 2x, and the last terms 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. Again, we've got like terms in the middle, and minus 3x plus 2x is minus x. Now let's have a look at a rule and see, do these top numbers have anything to do with the bottom numbers? Well, this time 2 minus 3 will give me minus 1. Remember, in front of that x there isn't a number, so we can assume it's a 1. So 2 minus 3 gives me minus 1. And then 2 times minus 3 gives me minus 6. So 2 times minus 3 gives me minus 6. So the signs are important, but the same rule generally does apply. Let's try one more. If we've got x plus 6 and x minus 2 and we FOIL them, we end up with x squared minus 2x plus 6x minus 12. And now those like terms, minus 2x plus 6x is 4x. So let's see, how can we use 6 and minus 2 to get 4? Well, if I subtract them, 6 minus 2 will give me 4. And if I multiply 6 and minus 2, I will end up with minus 12. So those numbers still have something to do with the numbers I end up with in the trinomial. So, starting with different signs will always give me a negative at the end. Okay, so I started with a plus 2 and a minus 3 and ended with a minus 6. I started with a plus 6 and minus 2 and I ended with minus 12. And another thing I want you to notice is the sign of the bigger number is always the middle sign. So I had plus 2 and negative 3. 3 was the bigger number. I ignore the sign, so 3 was the bigger number, and that was the sign in the trinomial. With 6 and 2, 6 was the bigger number, it was positive, so the middle number in the trinomial is positive. So that's what we need to be aware of as we try and reverse the process. So now we've got x squared plus 5x minus 6. And because we've got a negative at the end, the signs will be different, but I'm still looking for my factors of 6. So my factors of 6 are 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. I'm going to ignore the signs at this stage because I know I'm going to end up with two different signs. We'll decide later which one should be which. Now, I'm looking for the combination of numbers that will subtract. Okay, if your last sign is a negative, you want to subtract numbers to get 5. And 6 minus 1 will give me 5. Now remember, once you've chosen your numbers in the bracket, so your numbers will be 6 and 1, the bigger number always gets the middle sign. So which is bigger, 6 or 1? Well, 6 is bigger, so it must get the middle sign, and the middle sign is positive. So my brackets will be x plus 6 and x minus 1. Okay, so first of all, I'm looking to subtract two numbers to get my middle term. And then the middle term, the sign of the middle term will be the sign of the bigger number, of my bigger numbers that I choose. So the sign of the bigger number will be the sign of the bigger number. Pause now and you can make some notes. We need to try a few more of these examples because they can be quite tricky, but we need to just get used to them and practice a little bit. So x squared plus x minus 6. I need my factors of 6. So 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. But because that final sign is negative, I want to subtract my numbers to get 1. 6 minus 1 will not give me 1, but 3 minus 2 will give me 1. So we're going to choose 3 and 2. Now those are the numbers I'm choosing. They're going to go into my brackets. They will have different signs. Which is bigger, 2 or 3? Well, 3 is bigger, so 3 must get the middle sign, which is positive. So it'll be x plus 3 and x minus 2. X squared minus 4x minus 12. I need my factors of 12. So 12 and 1, beg your pardon, 6 and 2, and 4 and 3. Now I want to subtract my numbers to get a 4. And 6 minus 2 will give me 4. So that's the set of numbers I'm going to put in my brackets. Which number is bigger, 2 or 6? Well, 6 is bigger, so 6 must get the sign of the middle term. So 6 must be negative. So I end up with the brackets x minus 6 and x plus 2. X squared minus 7x minus 8. I'm looking for my factors of 8. So 8 and 1 and 4 and 2. I need to subtract my numbers because of that sign to get 7. So 8 minus 1 will give me 7. So 8 and 1 are the numbers I'm going to choose. 8 is the bigger number, so 8 must get the middle sign. So 8 will be a minus, 1 will be a plus. So it'll be x minus 8 and x plus 1. Let's try just 1 or 2 more examples. Example 5 says x squared minus 8x plus 12. Okay, now I've changed something. We've changed that last sign to a plus again. So let's see how it changes the previous few examples. So I need to find my factors of 12, 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 4 and 3. Now because that sign is positive, I need to add my numbers to get 8. And 6 plus 2 will give me 8. Alright, so those are the numbers I'm going to choose. Now because my last sign is positive, the signs will be the same. And they will be the same as the middle sign. So it'll be x minus 6 and x minus 2. Let's try one final example. X squared plus 2x minus 8. I need my factors of 8. So 8 and 1, 4 and 2. Because that sign is negative, I want to subtract the numbers to get 2. So 4 minus 2 will give me 2. 4 and 2 are the numbers I'm choosing. Because the last sign is negative, the signs will be different. And the bigger number of the two numbers I'm choosing will get the middle sign. So the bigger number is 4, so the 4 must get the plus, and the other one will be a minus. So we end up with x plus 4 and x minus 2. These just take a little bit of practice, but I'm sure you will get them as soon as you have time to try some on your own. Thanks for watching Max Maths. If you liked what you saw, please like, share and subscribe.